Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, Mark.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Thank you so much
Good.
for your
Thank you
time.
for
Have a
having me.
seat.
I
We're just
appreciate
thrilled
it.
to have you. Welcome back to Casady.
Happy to be here. Always happy to come back.
Mark, so ahead of your commencement speech to the class of 2026 tomorrow, I wanted to take some time just to get to know more about you, your time at Casady. It's clearly an institution that had an impact on you.
It did.
So much so that you've taken your time, your talent, and your resources to make an impact back on the school. If you can look back on some memories or experiences that you had here, what are some of the ones that rise to the surface?
Daily chapel, of course, lifetime friendships, SPC trips, just the daily lunch at Calvert. So many memories. I don't know that one in particular stands out, but really for me, it's what is a common denominator is just an overwhelming sense of gratitude that I got to go to school here at this wonderful place.
Mark, when did you start at Casady? What was your first grade that you came into, and where on campus were you when you started?
We were in primary, and at that time primary was in the basement of All Souls Church.
Okay.
So I started in 1962 or 63, I think, in the basement of All Souls. Moved to the lower division, the primary lower division building, was built and finished when I became in fourth grade.
Okay.
So fourth grade I moved to this campus.
Okay.
And so was a lifer like you at Casady, and graduated in 1974.
When you think back on all the years that you spent at Casady, how did they shape who you became, not just professionally, but personally?
When I look back, other than my home, I spent more time, more hours of my life on the Casady campus than any other place. So it really had an immense impact on my life. One of the ways is in lifetime friendships. I mean, we're a small class, we had 68, and so just the daily shared experiences, the friends that I made at Casady, I'm still deeply close to, and they really have impacted my life and frankly made me a better person. I think another way is just Casady was a rigorous school, and although I liked academics, you had to work hard to do well, and I think schools that don't set high expectations for their students like Casady, I think they actually do their students a disservice, because it just doesn't resemble anything they're going to encounter the rest of their lives. So I think instilling a work ethic in me has also helped me both personally and professionally.
That's great. So were there teachers or coaches or mentors that you had here at Casady that really made a lasting impact on you?
Absolutely. I mean, so many. Two, of course, for me stand out. One is Margaret Tuck, and I'm sure you've heard that before. Mrs. Tuck taught me how to write.
Okay.
And she also taught me how to read and why to read great books. And I didn't really appreciate it at the time. Some of the books we read were challenging, and a couple of them I actually didn't like at the time, have since reread them and have come to appreciate them. And so she really instilled in me a lifelong love of reading, and that was just a great gift she gave me.
That's fantastic.
David Gorham is another. David was my advisor my junior year, and that was maybe not my best year, and I remember needing a couple of course corrections. It was in this very building. It was in Hightower in David Gorham's office. He called me in and frankly set me straight on a few things, gently but firmly, and I've never forgot that. And I've always been grateful for David and for so many Casady faculty and teachers that just invested themselves in me and in all of my classmates.
So your connection to Casady is unique in the sense that your dad was here with you. He was a teacher and later a department chair, I understand, and eventually became the head of school. Was that after your time at Casady?
That was after my time.
Yeah.
Dad, so I remember distinctly when Dad told my brother David and me, I was in 6th grade, that going into 7th, that he would be on campus next year. I remember initially not being too crazy about that, because I thought, well, wait, this is my turf. But it was fine. It worked out great. I never had Dad as a teacher, although I would have been happy to. But it was really good actually having him on campus. And although when he was headmaster, I was out of school. And so we really didn't intersect too much then. But it was fun for me and for my brother David to know that my father and mother, of course, loved the school as much as we did.
Sure. So when your dad became head of school, did that surprise you?
Well, it did. I did not know he was applying.
Yeah.
It was a total surprise. So
And what was that like to come back to campus? And he was living in the Woolsey house.
He was living in Woolsey House,
which was a place that you had known as the home of the headmaster.
Yes.
What was that like to know that's the family home now?
It was a little different. It was actually, one of the perks was, so I had two daughters, Sarah and Allison, and they were Casady lifers. Well, when they were little, we got to have birthday parties on campus at Woolsey House.
Great.
And so it was a bit different coming back and having my parents live in the house where Dr. and Mrs. Woolsey lived
Sure.
all those years.
Sure.
But it was fun. It was a happy time for them. Dad always
Absolutely.
said that his years at Casady were the happiest years of his life.
What values or lessons from your Casady experience do you feel like have stayed with you the most?
Well, I think one of them, as I said, is just the willingness and ability to work hard. You know, Casady's a rigorous school, and you had to work hard to keep up. And I think that has paid a lot of dividends in my life. And you know what? The great thing about Casady, though, Lindsay, is we set the bar high. But then we have these outstanding teachers and coaches who work with us every day to meet or even exceed that bar.
Right.
And you know, I also learned you need to try hard, and failure at times happens, and it's acceptable. But mediocrity is not, and anything less than your best effort is not acceptable. I learned that here, and that was really a powerful lesson.
If you could relive any one Casady tradition or moment or experience, what would that be?
I mentioned Margaret Tuck. I confess that I was often, at times, scared of her. She could be intimidating. But if I could, I'd love to go back for 1 hour in her classroom. It was right in the class next door here,
Yeah.
and I would love to spend an hour in her classroom again if I could.
What part of campus do you feel is unchanged? If you walked in it, around it, you were near it, what's one space here that you feel like feels exactly like when you were here? Or is there one?
Well, there is. You know, so many things have changed on the campus, and for the better. As I walked here today, I mean, you just see this campus is being transformed physically, and it's wonderful. But when I walk in the chapel, it's like I never left. I know the chapel has had some additions and improvements, but it absolutely feels the same, and you just feel like you're coming home. So it's the chapel for me.
That's great. So Casady often talks about preparing our students to live lives of balance, purpose, and joy. In what ways have those traits shown through in your own life?
Gosh, I love that Casady instills those three qualities in our students. Balance, of course, I really think that even comes just from the Casady ethos of mind, body, and spirit. And you know, it's easy in life to become unbalanced in one or more of those areas. But Casady did a really good job for me and for all of us in requiring that daily balance. We had daily academics, daily chapel, daily sports, and so I think we learned the habit of keeping those things in balance while at Casady, and that really has stuck with me. As far as purpose, I'd say, to me, purpose is living for something above and greater than yourself. And I learned that at Casady through our teachers who modeled that for me. And so I really tried to emulate that in my life. And joy, you know, to me, daily chapel was the source of great joy. And you know, joy is, it's intentional. You can choose it. It's not the same as happiness. Happiness is contingent on circumstances, but joy is something you can choose. And I think daily chapel for me helped instill that habit every day.
Looking back now, what do you most appreciate about the Casady community? We talk about our community and the strength of our community so much. What do you appreciate about being a part of that community?
Lindsay, I think for me it's just how close it is. You know, we're still have comparatively small classes, and those shared experiences, I just think, you know, the sports and the dining hall and just even though we had 68 class members, I wasn't really close with all of them, but we just had our 50th reunion, and it's remarkable how, you know, even those that I wasn't particularly close to 50 years ago, we are now. And so I just think it's such a tight-knit community. I mean, there's a reason we call it the Casady family. It really feels like that.
So you're coming back to be the commencement speaker for this year's graduating class. Would you have ever expected to be the commencement speaker? If somebody told you that when you were graduating,
Dr.
what would
Woolsey
you have
would
thought?
not have believed it. Nor would my parents.
So what excites you most about that opportunity to speak to this class?
Of course, when Nathan asked me to do this last fall, I was humbled and flattered. I still am. And for me, it's really two things, I suppose. I never walk on campus without really feeling two emotions. The first is gratitude that I've referred to, just that I got to go to school at such a wonderful place. And the second, I always feel like I'm coming home. I mean, just having spent so much time here, and maybe it's because my parents, it was their home for 10 years. So it's a truly humbling and gratifying feeling to be able to come speak at commencement.
What's your message going to be to these students? They're going out into the world. They don't know what to expect. They don't know where they may land. They don't know where they'll be in 50 years. What's your message to students that are graduating today? What do you want them to know about your experience that could help them understand what's going to be ahead of them, and what can they take away from this special day?
You know, I was thinking about, as of preparing, my wife Marta said, I mean, I don't know what you're going to say, but no matter what, don't give them a lot of advice. You know, and so I've tried not to give too much advice tomorrow. At least I hope it doesn't sound like advice. But you know, one of the things, this class it really is a remarkable class. They're a tight-knit group, and I've had the chance to observe them over this last year with all their remarkable accomplishments. And so, you know, I think they really have demonstrated over their Casady time a lot of these wonderful virtues of resilience and perseverance and integrity and diligence. And so I think respect for others. And as they leave, they'll be going to college campuses that maybe aren't so friendly to those virtues, and a world that's not always so friendly to those virtues. So I think, in one sense, they don't need to do anything different than they're already doing, but they may need to be more intentional about living out those virtues in their daily lives. And the other thing I would say is, going back to the theme of joy, just be joyful. Live a life of joy and gratitude, no matter what your career, no matter what your vocation. And I think those things that Casady helped instill in me and instill in them, I think will hopefully resonate and stay with them.
Last question. You're about to be a grandparent of students who attend this school. What does that mean to you, and what do you look forward to in the years to come, watching your own grandchildren get to experience this school?
Oh, well, that is about as good as it gets, to see my I've got two, as you know, who will be in primary next year, and excited that they'll be here. And, as I look at Casady and just all the transformation on campus, with all our great history, I feel like Casady's best days are still ahead of her. I really believe that. And so that's the way it should be. So I'm truly excited for my grandkids to get to see at a distance how things go with them. But the chance that I got to go to school here, and then my daughters, and now my grandkids, it really is just a great blessing. So I'm very grateful and excited.
It's a special family tradition.
I'll be back in the carpool line.
Yes, you will. Grandparents' Day, look out. Well, Mark, thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Great, thank you,
and
Lindsay.
appreciate all you do for our school.
I sure appreciate it. Thank you so much.